Hi everyone, my name is Muhammad Kardan. In this video I'm going to describe what I know about LODs. LOD means level of details, and what does it mean? What does level of details means? Think like, for example, I wanna describe this basketball ball. Okay, so this is our basketball. As you can see, nice quality, and when we go a little bit close, we can see so many details and so on and so forth. Okay, so what is LOD? LOD means that when we are, for example, in this distance, there is no reason to have too many polys on this basketball to show me the details, and when we go maybe so close, we can see that, do you see it has a little bit edgy in here, this part. You can see the polys. It's not super smooth and it's not super edgy. Okay, so what does LOD does for us? LOD means like I did LOD for these two parts and I want to show you. Let's go to show in lit, go to LOD, not in here, level of detail and mesh LOD. Do you see it's red? When it doesn't have any color, it means that we are in the highest level of details, highest LOD, and there is nothing decreased. We are seeing the original polys of this, for example, playground or of this basketball. Okay, because I've made LODs for these two, when I become a little bit far, they changes the color, because it means that now this asset poly is decreased in this distance, but when we go a little bit near, it's it has some levels. First is gray, no decreasement, and when a little bit far it become red, a little bit more far become green, and when we go too far it gets blue. Okay, so and let me open it up. In here we can see, where is it, LOD setting, LOD number of LODs, 4 LODs, and minimum LOD is 0. We can depend on our environment, set different settings for that. Let me put it in here and check it together. Okay, so says minimum LOD 0. I want to be in here and the minimum LOD of 1. Can we do that? Yeah. Or minimum of LOD of 2. Yeah, we can do it. That's great. So what does it mean? I want to explain this ball and make this LOD for this ball together and see what does it do. Okay, so here is the basketball asset. The main one I imported in Unreal Engine was this one, but I could import this one as well. Okay, so let me go in here. So it all depends. For example, maybe our environment wants to close to this ball, for example, in this distance. So in here maybe it's rational to import maybe this one rather this one, because it looks a little bit edgy. You see, a little bit. So we can import this ball in our environment, and for better performance we can import other level of details for our ball. We can say, okay, this is the highest quality, then it decreases to this one, and then it decreases to this one, and then this one, and then this one. Okay, this is the number of LODs decreased by polygons. For example, this one is 4K, this one is 1K, this one is 256, this one is 128, and this one is, if I decrease it, become let me reduce it a little bit. For example, 88. Okay, so so maybe you may ask me, so why it's important to have different LODs for our assets? Okay, let's say, imagine like we are in a helicopter, we are in this distance. So in this distance, why we need to render a lot of things in our hardware, in our RAMs, in our VRAMs, in our game, to render such a prop in this distance? What's the reason? And if you have a really big city, and we are moving like a helicopter like that, going from here to here and doing so many far distance from our assets, we are just spending and wasting too many of our hardware for processing the things that is not important at all. The things in here that are gray is the assets that doesn't have any LODs. Means like when I'm this far, all of the assets that I have in here are processing. Okay, and the next and other new assets that I'm, for example, going with our helicopter, are gonna import in our RAMs and our hardware, and makes our system too laggy. And it's so important in our games to have different LODs for our assets, because without them we will get in a point that exhausts our GPU, our CPU, and the whole hardware tries to crash and not performing well. Okay, and it's so important. Maybe in our gamers are playing in mobile, so in mobile the hardware is so much slower compared to PC, and it's gonna facing so many problems. Okay, so when we are playing, for example, in this distance, we are too far to see a lot of details of, for example, that vase or that trash can. Okay, so if you have different LODs, our game engine decreases a lot of our polys. For example, that that vase, think like that vase has this amount of polygons, 4K polygons. Okay, but because we are too far from our asset, we are like that. Okay, so let me smooth them. Do you see any difference between these 5? No, but the polygons are a huge difference between 4K to maybe 256. Okay, but the quality and the visual thing that you see is the same. There is no difference. Okay, so LODs try to working like that you can't guess. For example, this asset decreased, or when we get in front of it, it gets but in a higher poly. Okay, so here I just did, let me click this one. I made LODs of this basketball. So how did I did that? I said that okay, this one is the highest one is basketball 0, this one is 1, this one is 2, this one is 3. Okay, I select the highest one first, then the second, and the second, third one, and the fourth one. Okay, go to edit, level of detail, create LOD group. Boom, it's made. And as you can see, it says like LOD 0, 1, 2, and 3. And it has some settings and in which distance show the second, and third, and so on. I just wanna become a little bit far and see what does LOD do. This is the highest one. Okay, as we go far, did you see that? Our ball changed. This one is 1K, but this one was 4K. Okay, as we go a little bit far, this one is the third one, it's 256, and as we go more far, it's like 128. Okay, and I personally didn't have time for doing that for all of my assets because it was a personal project, and as you can see, there are so many things going on in here. You can see that if I hit static meshes, I have 260 static meshes in here. So for me doing all of this for a personal project, it was so much. But I just want to mention in this video that I'm aware of LODs and what do they do and what's the benefit of them. But I didn't import different LODs for each and every asset of my environment. Okay, but I found we have some simple ways to without making it in Unreal Engine. We have some other ways in without making in Maya, we have other ways to make it in Unreal Engine automatically, not like by hand in Maya and so on and so forth. Okay, so let me open this basketball. I want to see does it work or not, because as you were seeing, it was gray. It means that it didn't have any LODs. So let us check it. So in LOD setting we have none, but we can we can, for example, say a small prop and changing for that. Okay, so how number of LODs, maybe go for 6 and say apply. Okay, so let's see what did it done to our asset. Okay, that's good. And for better result, we have to select the better things in here. For example, as you see, I selected a small prop and the LOD decreased so faster, and I didn't expect that. But you can see it decreased. You see it's edgy. I can see that. But when our camera goes closer and closer, it increases the polygons, okay? And I think that's really good. So triangles in this distance is 60. When we go now, it become 120. When we go closer, become 480. I think 480, yeah, 480 triangle is the most, because in here we have 480 triangles and 256 polygons. I mean quads. So 480, look at it in here, 240, and it's decreased, and 120 decreased more, and as we go becomes 60. Okay, so in a small we can select different types of things for better results. For example, let's say high detail. Now it decreased the quality not so soon. Okay, yeah, highest quality, and yeah, and we can do it for others. For example, say like for example, I have this bench and it has so many polys. I can double click on it and go to again LOD, go to for example large prop, let me do it. Yeah, it's done. Okay, so let's see the result. In this distance we have 10K, but when we go near, it increases. When we go far, let me check it in here. Yeah, it decreased, but not in the best way. Maybe we have to change this, for example. For this prop, I can see it the automatic of the Unreal Engine can't do the best, because it's so much complicated shape compared to this just a sphere. And when I go this much close, we have the original, and when I go for yeah, this one doesn't do the best. Maybe we can delete it, go to none. Yeah, and we can change the distances and whatever in here. So let me uncheck them, import my base mesh. Yeah, I reset it, and yeah, we don't have LOD for that. So for this asset, because it's complex and as you can see it has screws and all of that, maybe it's better option to do it on Maya compared to our basic sphere that Unreal Engine could do. But for some simple assets like maybe these boxes or some cylinders, or maybe for these boxes, the gift boxes like that, Unreal Engine could do that and we are good to go. But yeah, I wanted to just mention what I know about LODs and why we use in game engines and the benefit of them, and it's so necessary to have LODs. And hope you enjoyed it and get the idea, and see you on the next video.